if we're going to ever graduate from planet Earth, we're going to need to help the slow people. Who are the slow people? Basically, all of us are very slow people. We're very slow to learn. Quite often, we forget what we're supposed to remember. In essence, what we feel like is, um, as I said in my previous video, uh, God wouldn't make us this stupid. So, what's really going on? Pretty much what's going on is we are not what we think we are. We think we're individual people with, a brain up here that um, produces a mind. And the mind in the brain is an amazing thing. It remembers things and it keeps all the body functions going. It coordinates the eyesight, coordinates balance, tells us when we need to eat, and supposed to give us a capacity to love, gives us a capacity to hate, gives us a capacity to be fearful, to be angry, to be apathetic. Sometimes we feel peaceful, sometimes we feel itchy. The metaphysical writer Stuart Wilde talked about trans-dimensional entities. Those are beings that aren't really in our world, but from another dimension seem to be affecting what we do here. I started to read another article. I just sort of glanced at it and then I went back to look at it and it was gone. But in there, Stuart Wilde was going to go on further on this topic, and I don't know what he was going to say. His compatriot, the hooded sage Chris Krepsick, said that although we appear to be in a humanoid form, he said actually what we are is more like a cube. Now that's hard to get your head around, but that's what he went with. He said that basically we're a cube. And connecting one of us to the next one of us are tubes. So it appears to our physical senses that we're humanoids, but he said the way that things are actually working, if you could really see it, is I'm a cube, you're a cube, and we connect to one another through tubes. And then he gave us some other things about how we communicate with one another through perhaps our auras. Very complicated because I don't see any of the stuff that he talks about it, but he got it from somewhere. Is this how intuition works? Or is this how, if someone's feeling sick, sometimes you feel sick the same way they did? I mean, did you somehow have a cube from their cube come to you and you start feeling the same thing, but you can't see it? So these trans-dimensional entities are not nice things. They're demonic. And they like to do voodoo on humans. I don't know how it all relates because in the Indian tradition, from India, they talk about the superconsciousness, which is hard to place. It doesn't seem to be human. You might call it more have godlike powers. It knows things. And then, with technology, we've got from Ray Kurzweil, the futurist, the idea of a singularity, which is, I can't exactly remember, but it's something to do with computers becoming ultra smart. You put them all together again, and what have you got? They want me to go back to some of my earlier talks when I said everything that's going on is going on in consciousness. And regardless of whether we're cubes in consciousness or humanoid forms in consciousness or whatever, We're all in consciousness. And if quantum physics is correct, and is it really correct? I mean, you learn a little bit about it in school, maybe I don't know what grade you learned it in high school, a little bit about the observer effects and things, but really, is it something you really learned yourself, or it's just something you were force fed to believe? Is it really true? And you get all kinds of scientific reports that you can read about on the internet, but is it really true? We know with computer generated animation, basically anything can be made to look true. Is that the way things are really operating? If you've got transdimensional entities, and maybe Stuart Wilde did, he said that he often dealt with them, maybe they were giving him what he called a ghoul feed. In other words, information coming from a ghoul that's all a lie. Are the things in your life um, for you comfortable? Are they nice for you? Or is it possible that all of us are computer generated characters and we're given an illusion from the computer of being individual humans, but really there was a movie in the late 1980s that was called Tron, and there was a human that got uploaded into a computer. Is that what we are? We're just computer generated characters that think that we're biological or somehow? How would you ever know? It's all going on in consciousness. What's consciousness really? Awareness, communication, feeling, memories, weird dreams. When I'm looking at my screen, on my smartphone, and it's because it's low light, it's kind of pixelated, and when I kind of look at my face, I'm kind of a pixelated face, and maybe it looks like I'm traveling and I'm at the front of a starship,